What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Real Racing 3, and I haven't done one of these in quite a long time. It's kind of the channel took a little bit of a different direction, but here we are back with this. Obviously, you see the picture on the screen. We're sitting here. It's been a long time, but Real Racing 3 is coming to an end, and yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everybody feels a certain way about that, however it is you feel about it. But here we are. I'm going to do just a couple of races and see how it goes. But this is the final event of the year, and I would say there's some irony here because the event pays 250 gold, and then if you come in here to these, 250 plus 75, that's now 325, 425, 525, 650. So you get 650 gold plus a car. If you don't already have it, and I don't know, do I have this car? I don't know. There's some irony here because if they had been paying out rewards like this for the whole time, I think a lot more people would have played for a lot longer, and they wouldn't be going out of business now. But let's go take a little trip around Lime Rock Park. This is one of the newer tracks in the game for those of us who've been around for a very long time. And one of the difficulties for people who have been playing this game for a long time, and the reason so many people stopped playing, is that it's just like a constant hamster wheel. The tracks never change. The events never change. The cars change, but, there's a lot of stuff they could have done. When I first started playing, they had just come out with NASCAR, and that was dumb because they never released enough tracks, and the couple that they did release were basically the two worst tracks you could possibly release for a game. You had Richmond and you had Daytona, and short tracks are extremely difficult for gaming platforms, and then nobody bothers to get the game physics correct for drafting. And of course, Real Racing 3 was no different. The drafting physics are garbage, and they have been, and they never cared enough to fix it. And I think that's a common theme of why we're here. The developers never cared enough to grow the game, to grow what we did, to allow more things. For a little while, we had race team events, and they didn't care enough about those, so they just got overrun with hackers. Same thing with online multiplayer. And so now we're here, and there's a lot of people trying to figure out whether the game will be playable once, what is it, the 19th of March? I know it's in March. Will the game be playable, or will it just cut off? I don't know. I tell you what's for sure going to happen, unless something changes, is, and I'm just going to do this one tier and then I'll be done here. Apart from racing and farming, we're not going to be able to earn gold, and we are likely not going to be able to earn motorsport dollars either. So whatever you're going to get, you better get it today while you can. What do I have to do? I have to go 5 miles, I think. 5 something. But that's where we are. And obviously, and honestly, that was one of the biggest reasons I moved away from Real Racing 3 content was um it just got so tedious to play. They almost never introduced new tracks, and obviously they did, but what they came out with one or two new tracks a year, which was not much, and so many of those were blocked off behind um, Formula One, so you had to drive the Formula One cars to get access to the tracks. And they had a lot of tracks that they didn't drive for Formula One, and I don't know what the reasons were for that, but those were really boring series, and they just got extremely repetitious. Then the second, like some of the more later series where you would only run it on 3 or 4 tracks, maybe 5, were really bad, and then it was just, you were never going to be able to get ahead. I made it to 100% in the game. That was back in 2018. It was March of 2018 that I got to 100%, and then I was never able to get back. And then obviously now, you just, there's no shot. Anybody that starts playing now, the game is just so bloated that there's just no way anybody ever is going to get to 100%. Switch to Tilt B right here. I'm not going to pain you with this countdown. I'll be right back. And we are back. Here we go. All right. Where was I? I was saying probably about how motorsport dollars are stupid. I think that was one of the things that, I don't know if killed is the right word, but I think that definitely sucked a lot of enjoyment out of the game for a lot of people. And there's a lot of people out there who want to defend it, like, oh yeah, no, it has to be limited. No, it doesn't have to be limited. It should have never been limited, but they decided to do that. You were able, for a little while when it first came out, you were able to accumulate some of it, and that's not bad. But if you look at the amount that is required now, it's like you'd have to race for like 10 years or something just to get the amount of motorsport dollars that's in the game right now, much less what they keep adding on. And don't hold me to that, but it's a very long time, and that's exclusive of anything else. So that was one of those things that really I think that was something that led to the decline of the game. But as far as what's going on here, obviously I am making a lot of content. Sports cards. I go to sporting events. Those are a little difficult to do, like vlogs at sporting events, though I have kind of tried. And then obviously I have the YouTube or the Facebook page, and now that there's not going to be an active Real Racing 3, I think I don't want to shut down the page, but it's not going to be maintained. I think I may just archive it, and we will see what's there. it was one of the first big real racing pages, and the first real racing Facebook group that got to 25,000 members. And it's been an interesting sort of part of my journey in the game and everything. I kind of kept going with it because I just never wanted to give it up, and partly because I knew that there was nobody who would take it over and run it really any better than I did, because there's no one else out there that I know of who is doing what Paulo does on the trackside group. So that's kind of where we are, but I'll figure out what sort of course of action I want to do with that group as we get closer. I'm undecided right now. Obviously, this is the Melbourne track, the one fake racetrack in the game. And that was another thing a lot of us have brought up over the years when there was a lack of tracks. And they're like, oh, well, they can't get, licensing to run the tracks. And we're like, who needs licensing? There's like 3,000 cities in the world, and like you could give us just a bunch of Melbournes, and I don't think anybody would complain. I kind of remember when this car came out, it was always weird. It's one of those cars that doesn't really behave like you would expect an actual car to behave. So it is what it is. This is 3 laps, and I'm going to get the 25%. I think I should get 25% after this. But yeah, this is just a little bit of playing. We're 3 days, I think, removed from the announcement that the game was shutting down. Maybe 2. New tier unlocked. There we go. 20 gold. All right. That does it for this one. And I appreciate everybody out there watching. I'll try to do, a couple of more of these just for nostalgia, I guess. But I thank you for watching, and I will see you again on the next one. Happy racing, everybody.